Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Dear cadets and students across Pakistan, especially KPK, Assalamu alaikum. This is the fourth video of the same continuation of definition of grammar. In the previous video, we discussed morphology, syntax, and meaning. In meaning, we came to the conclusion that meaning is basically the agreement and understanding of the speakers of the same language. Now, I gave you the example of marker. Again, I gave you the example of marker, how a word becomes a part of a language. Delheim is a very famous linguist, and he says that it takes a word passes through 4 processes to become the part of a language. The very first thing, possibility. Whether that word is possible in that society. Means grammatically that word will be correct. That sentence will be correct. But that sentence may not be possible in their society. It may be against norms and traditions, so people will reject it. No, it is not correct. That is not correct. For example, he gives examples of the same. The example I gave you, the rat and the cat, the rat and the lion. That it is not acceptable because in a society, the people cannot believe it, that a rat might have killed a lion. But he says, we in Pathan society, or in Eastern society, we say tea and biscuit was served. Tea and biscuit. Were served. Okay. That is possible in this society because tea and biscuits are usually served together in this society. But if a person says that tea and fish is served in tea party, tea and fish are served in a party. So that is in Pathan or in Eastern society, usually that is not the norm. That fish or fishes, different kind of fish. Usually fish doesn't have a plural, but when you refer to different kinds of fish, you can say fishes. Usually they are not served with tea in Eastern societies. Or perhaps across the world, I don't know much about, but at least in Eastern society we say that green tea or black tea with biscuit is served. So this is not a common tradition. So in a society it is rejected though, and people make fun of it. Oh, look at them, they are serving fish with the tea. It looks a bit awkward. There is nothing wrong. It looks a bit awkward because that is not acceptable in the society. Feasible. The second part is feasible. Whether that thing, that sentence, that word is feasible in that society for that work. Now this feasibility is linked with the context. With the context. For example, we take the example of the same sentence, tea with fish. Most probably, fish is served first with bread, baked bread, and after that, simple tea is served. Feasible. If I give you the example of the marker, is it feasible that the word marker is used for this thing? Now it will be considered with reference to the context. Why it is called marker? Mark is a verb which means leaving a sign. Now for leaving that sign, we use a thing or For putting that sign, we use a thing and we make a noun with this verb. From this verb, from mark, we call it marker. So that is feasible. Yes. For putting a mark, we use a marker. So it is feasible. And this is feasible. Now, appropriateness. Is this occasion, is this sentence, or this word for a thing appropriate according to the occasion? This is very important. Even if a thing is possible, even if a thing is feasible, but if it is not appropriate to the occasion, this is grammatically wrong, because the people don't accept it. The people will reject it. Oh, this is not the occasion, yaar. What are you talking, yaar? Please, this is not the proper place. This is not the proper occasion. Leave it for a proper occasion. We will discuss it sometime later. We usually do the same thing. We usually say the same thing. Whenever we are sitting in a group, we are having discussion about different things, and all of a sudden a person comes and he starts another subject for which the participants of the same discussion are not ready to hear. So they say, oh yeah, leave it. It may be grammatically correct, but the participants of the same discussion reject it. It is wrong. Acceptedness. This is very important. And this, in the definition of appropriateness, I said acceptedness. When your statement, your participation, your definition, your marking, your naming or labeling something is not accepted in the society. It is not accepted in the society. It is usually rejected. For example, I give you an example about this. We usually, when we go after a funeral, when we are attending a funeral prayer, so usually we discuss something and the elders say, stop please, don't make a noise. Why? We are not doing something wrong. But the occasion is not appropriate for any sort of discussion. That is a very sad moment. And except of reciting some kalmas, some holy verses, anything else is considered bad. So that is not appropriate. What is accepted on that occasion? Only when you recite some holy verses or when you offer Fatiha or prayers for that dead body. So that is the thing. Then we come to possibility and acceptedness. Feasibility and appropriateness, feasible and possible are one thing in broader term, because a thing is feasible when it is possible. When it is possible, it is feasible. And a thing is appropriate when it is accepted. And when it is accepted, it is appropriate. Now these two things and these two things we bring together here. So possibility is acceptability. And acceptability is possibility. Means the same simple grammar rule in any language is anything that is possible in a society is acceptable in that society. That's why it is possible. And anything that is possible in that society, that is acceptable. Anything that is possible, that is acceptable. That's why it is acceptable. And anything that is acceptable, it is possible. Why it is possible? Because they are acceptable. So, now in next video, I'll come to the last, or to me, my personal definition of grammar. Please keep on watching. The next video will be the last video of the definition. Please subscribe the channel across the world. And I'll wait for your comments. I'll welcome the comments, the suggestions. Okay? Thank you very much.